Hey y'all, it's Jake from Jake's Bricks here, and if you are new to my channel, a little bit about me. I'm just a dad who loves to buy, build, sell, and invest in Lego sets. Part of the reason I can fund such a intense collection as you see behind me is because I choose to buy and sell and invest in Lego sets on the side. That's actually how I came out of the proverbial dark ages of not building Lego sets to re-engage my passion as adult was to buy and sell Lego sets. So I'm hoping to impart some of my wisdom on you on how I afford my Lego addiction and my Lego building hobby. So today we're going to be looking at some historical data on some sets that have retired recently, give you guys a little bit of window in sets that I purchased at the end of 2020, seeing how they're trending on the secondary market now, and maybe give you a window into some sets you could be investing in the future, so that hopefully you can buy and sell Lego sets to create your own little side business, or purely to just fund your Lego hobby like I do. So we're going to start today with set 10263. 10263. That is from the Creator Winter Village line. Usually Lego releases one, sometimes two of these sets every single year. And every single year, one, depending on how many sets are on the market, or two of these sets will retire sometime around Christmas time. Could happen in the summer. It all depends on stock levels and availability. But the end of 2020, this was the most recent Creator Winter Village Lego set to retire. The original retail price on this Lego set was $99.99 here in the US, and it was on the market for around 2 years, from the end of 2018 till the end of 2020. Now this set, if we're going to look back at some historical data based on how it's done comparatively to its other Winter Village counterparts, is not appreciating as quickly as some of the others have. The Winter Village train, the Winter Village train station, some of the older sets like the Post Office or Santa's Workshop have appreciated to a level that is pretty substantial to get on the secondary market at this point. Right now, being retired now for, let's just say, around 4 months, that has gone from a retail value of $100 all the way up to about $150, $160 on the secondary market, if we're using like eBay as a baseline here in the US for what the pricing point is on this set. Not bad. It's appreciated. It's definitely gone up in value, but if you're like me, who's someone who has not one, not two, but 8 of these, I was hoping that it would appreciate quicker than it has, considering after tax I paid about $107 for each of the Winter Village fire stations that I have. I was hoping this set would have appreciated quicker. Now obviously this is not the time of year to be selling Winter Village sets. So when October, November, and December roll around, this set will probably jump up in value another $15, maybe $20. If it hits the $200 mark, I'll be surprised, because I anticipate there are many sellers and investors out there like myself holding on to these, waiting to drop them on eBay or Amazon or whatever secondary market platform you're selling on. And they'll be dropping them on those platforms around the Christmas time, which could flood the market and actually decrease the value of the Lego set. Only time will tell till when we get to that. But one of the most successful investing lines is this Winter Village set. This is actually the probably the worst performing one up to this point. The Winter Village train station struggled to jump up in value, but has, I think, gone up substantially since its retirement a couple years ago. But I currently have 8 of these, and I'm probably going to have to hold them on to not sell them this Christmas, but the following Christmas, because after fees and shipping, I'm going to be making, if I'm selling at about $160, like maybe $5 to $10, if that. So I'll probably be holding on to these, want them to appreciate to at least above $200 before I start unloading those. So that's a little bit of view into the Winter Village line in this current set, which has now been retired for around 4 months. Let's jump over to another line and another set that recently retired, and I'll give you guys a look at that one as well. Set 10252, this is the Volkswagen Beetle. Again, this set actually just recently retired at the end of 2020. This set was actually on the market for 4 years, from August of 2016 all the way to December of 2020, which is a long time. It is above average for a Lego set, which the average lifespan of a normal Lego set is anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 years. This one outlived itself, and for good reason. The creator cars, as you see that I'm a huge fan of behind me, are some of the most collectible and desirable Lego sets on the market. The retail value for this set was $99.99. Periodically, toward the end of retirement, you could have picked this up on Walmart for $69.99 at a couple points, $79.99. You could have found it anywhere from a 10 to 15 to 20% discount, depending on what platform you were purchasing on. But I was able to pick up 10 of these. I currently have 10 of these as part of my collection. I'm hoping to sell them at some point. But because lots of people know how collectible these creator cars are, they have flooded the market post-retirement. It's only been retired for about 4 months now. And you can still pick up this set for around $140 to $150, depending on what platform you're purchasing on. We'll take a look at the eBay listings right here. Looks like they're trending at about that $140, $150 price point. I think this set will still do well over time. Again, it'll take some time for it to appreciate to get to the $200 or maybe the $250 mark. That might take several years. I'll probably have to sell most of mine before that point. But this set definitely is going to be very collectible just because of the nostalgia of the car. The second set that just recently retired was the 10220 T1 Volkswagen camper van. That set, I can't even remember. I think it was on the market for 7 years, like an unprecedented amount of time. And because so many people hoarded it, expecting it to retire sometime over the last 3 or 4 years, it has done a poor job of appreciating in value as far as investing in retired Lego sets go. So both sets are struggling to appreciate in value at this time. I'm a little bit bummed that I went so deep in on the Lego sets, but luckily I didn't purchase most of mine for $100, maybe a couple of them for $99.99. But the majority I was able to pick up anywhere from $60 to $80, and I'm hoping to be able to get my ROI, return on investment, here at about 100% to 150% in value here in the near future. So that is a look at the creator cars. Usually they're pretty desirable, but they tend to stick around on the market for a long time, which means they get heavily hoarded, and the collectors that want to buy them get their chance to have their hands on them. So really, you're just waiting for new collectors to enter the Lego community that need to pick up this set post-retirement. And because this one's so readily available, it will take a while to appreciate in value. So that's a look at our second Lego set, the creator car line, and that specific set, the Volkswagen Beetle. Let's jump over to another Lego line and take a look at another Lego set. All right, the third set we're looking at today is set 70670, if I can even say this right. It is the Ninjago Legacy Monastery of Spinjitzu. There's some, I know there are tons, the Crazy Lego fan and a couple other Lego fans that are huge Ninjago fans. Comment below, did I say that right? That's Spinjitzu, right? Lego Ninjago Monastery of Spinjitzu. This set I'm taking a look at, one, because I want to talk a little bit about Ninjago. There have been some incredible winners in the buy and sell and investing line of Ninjago. Like, some of the minifigures I have found to be extremely collectible for those that are really desire to collect some of the ninjas inside of this line. Dragons inside of the Ninjago series have been really collectible historically. But this set I want to highlight, one, because it kind of retired under my nose. I wasn't really expecting it. I was able to pick up 3 of these at a local retailer called Meyer. They were clearancing them out way before it was retiring. I think it was like mid-spring or summer of 2020. Saw a few on the shelf for $54.99, $55. The retail on this set was $79.99 here in the US. So That was about a $25 savings on this set. Picked up 3 of those. Again, at that time, you were able to pick them up on eBay for like $70. So really, I was only $15 less than the retail market value, and didn't expect it necessarily to retire anytime soon, but because it was on such a good deal, I was hopeful that maybe it would appreciate in value. And it actually snuck away in retirement around November of this year on Lego.com. Really went unavailable on almost every platform relatively quickly and kind of disappeared under many collectors' and investors' noses. The thing that I think is so desirable about some of these Ninjago sets is the minifigures. There are so many Ninjago fans out there that love collecting each type of minifigure, and sometimes the headdresses are different. The torsos are different, just slightly, but enough to make each minifigure collectible in its own right. So let's take a look. This set was originally $80 on Lego.com. You could pick it up historically for $67 to $70. Readily available on Amazon, Walmart.com. I picked my 3 of mine up for $55. And after being retired for just 5 months, this set is trending at about $150 to $160 on eBay here in the US, which for me is looking pretty good for someone that bought 3 of these at $55, considering it's already appreciated about $100 plus in value. And it looks like it will continue to appreciate in value over time. And there must be some sort of exclusive minifigure inside of the set, but I just know how collectible Ninjago Lego sets are, and this one, because it snuck under the radar, was not heavily hoarded, I think has the potential by Christmas time or early next year to get up to $200 in value on the secondary market, which is looking pretty good for someone like me that was able to pick up a few of these for $55-$60. So that's a pretty cool set to have. Some of those Ninjago sets that really were only on the market, I think this was under 2-year mark, so about 1.75 years this was on the market, and because it disappeared so quickly, it was really difficult to find, and I can see it appreciate in value pretty heavily over the next several months. So that's Ninjago Legacy, looking at that Monastery of Spinjitzu. Let's jump over to one other set. We're going to have 2 more, so we'll jump over to another theme and take a look at what else we've got. All right, the next Lego set we're going to look at is set 75244. This is the Lego Tantive 4 from the Star Wars line. Star Wars, historically one of the most popular Lego lines to date, with some of the most desirable sets and, to be honest, some of the most least desirable sets. Star Wars is all over the map when it comes to Lego investing and Lego buying and selling, and it is completely random. Minifigures, collectible pieces, certain lines, certain movies. There is no rhyme or reason to how Star Wars performs. Certain UCS sets, like the UCS Death Star, was like remade from the 10188 to the 75159, like immediately with a very minor change, which made the 10188 not very collectible. They've been redoing, I think we've got a new UCS R2-D2 coming up, which is going to probably make the old R2-D2 less valuable. They keep remaking sets. Star Wars is an enigma. And again, this is a Tantive 4, which is again another remake from one of the larger Tantive 4 sets from the mid-2000s. But I was able to pick up 9 of these over the last several years. I anticipated it to retire at the end of 2020, which it did, but it is not technically an Ultimate Collector Series Lego set, which is kind of unique because it fits the bill. It's got a ton of pieces, it's really large, it displays well, but it doesn't have that nameplate and doesn't fall into the UCS category. And I don't know if that's affected the way that it has appreciated on the secondary market. I think half the sets that I picked up of the 9, maybe 5 of them, I paid $199, which was the retail value here in the US, probably $212 after tax. But what was unique is that on Walmart.com and a couple other retailers, you were able to pick it up for anywhere from $150 to $170 around the time of retirement, which I got my additional 4 for that price. I think even Lego.com had it on discount around Black Friday for that price as well. So I picked up a few, anticipating it to retire, and it did, which made me excited because it had only been on the market for around a year and a half. I believe it was released on the May the 4th. It came out on Lego.com in 2019. So because it wasn't on the market for very long, I anticipated it shooting up in value relatively quickly, which it has not done. I've got 9 of these sitting here in my basement, and I am pretty disappointed that this set is not up at the $300 or the $350 range. It is staying really stagnant, stuck anywhere from $250 to $280, depending on where you are looking to purchase it: Bricklink, eBay, Amazon, etc. Now, it started out poor. Like, post-retirement was at $210 and $220. So it has jumped in value over the last couple months by $50 or $60. I anticipate by the end of the year maybe to get up to the $300 range, but because I have so many that I purchased around $200, $212 after tax, like, selling this set now, like, it returns almost no return on investment for me, which is surprising. So I'm telling this and giving you some wisdom. Star Wars is really difficult to learn and figure out how to invest in. It's very dependent on collectible minifigures. There are several minifigures included in this set: Princess Leia, R2-D2, and C-3PO, and a couple others. But they must not be too exclusive or rare to this set. It's not a UCS set, and I think that might have hurt its value upon appreciation post-retirement. So, unique thing to look at inside of this set is it unique? Will they remake it? Does it have exclusive minifigures? And those are all things to consider when investing in Lego Star Wars set. Hoping this will jump up to around the $320 price range around Christmas, but we will just have to wait and see. All right, now let's jump into our 5th and final Lego set and talk about that theme as well. All right, the 5th and final Lego set that we'll be looking at today is set 10260, the modular building from the Creator line, the Downtown Diner. This set fits into the modular building category. One of the most collectible lines Lego has ever made, and props to them for continuing to make sets that are awesome, because so many people love building Lego cities with these modular buildings. So we've got the Downtown Diner here, originally retailed here in the US for $169.99, $170, and was on the market, retired in December of 2020. Was on the market for just under 2 years. I think it came out in February of 2018. Again, in a previous video, which I'll show you right up here, I talk about my Lego story, how I got back into the hobby, a little bit about investing. I talk about it up there in the top corner. I talk about investing in the Lego Pet Shop, which when I first read an article about Lego investing, they said modular buildings, and I went so deep on the Lego Pet Shop, and it was an absolute dud. So I got really scared investing in Lego modular buildings for a long time. Ended up buying a couple Palace Cinemas at one point, and then sold those for a small profit. Those have now appreciated in value to a pretty high level, but it took a while to get there. And so I started to get my feet wet. And then, like, the internet broke, at least in the Lego community, when both the Brick Bank and the Detective's Office, both of those disappeared in the dark of night, like one day. And those sets, which were around $160, $170 in their own right, disappeared off the market, came back for just a second, and they just have skyrocketed to a level that I can't even fathom. Like, in certain retailers, you're buying them for $550, $600, $650 for either of those sets. And they have just dominated the appreciation in the Lego investing market. If you're holding on to several Detective Offices or Brick Banks, like, you are sitting on a pretty penny right now, because the buy-in for some of those sets, which you even could have gotten discount at some point, around $140, $150 has just turned an incredible ROI. So I watched that happen. I know a lot of other people saw that happen, and they're like, I'm going deep on the downtown diner, which I was hesitant to do as well. But the thing about this year is that COVID presented a ton of supply chain challenges for Lego. There were tons of rumors that this set was going to be retiring at the end of 2020, and it was the next modular building to go out. We've introduced already 3 new ones since then: the bookstore, the police station, and the corner garage. But this one retired at the end of 2020 and has not disappointed, as it has appreciated very quickly. It kind of disappeared under the radar. People knew it was going, but it didn't even last towards the end of the holiday season. And if you got your hands on a downtown diner, you are sitting pretty so far. Currently on the retail secondary market, we're looking at around $340 to $350 for the downtown diner. Buy-in was $170. I actually own 6 of these currently, so I am sitting pretty good. Almost 100% return on investment for these sets already, and it looks like the sky is the limit at this point. It looks like the market is starting to dry up, and potentially by Christmas of this year, this set will be hitting around $400. Now, here's my forewarning for those that are getting their eyes wide about what's the next modular building that's going to retire and should I invest in it. It sounds like the next building to retire will likely be the Assembly Square. I am personally nervous to invest in the Assembly Square for the same reason I'm nervous and went deep in on the Lego Pet Shop. The Lego Pet Shop was the longest running modular building on the market for 5+ years. The Assembly Square is hitting that length as well, I think 4+ years at this point. It is readily available. You can still purchase it online right now. Again, it is estimated to retire, but I'm nervous about how flooded the market is and how many people have hoarded this set, making the post-retirement potential much more limited. Now, the things it has going for it is actually the most expensive modular building that's ever been produced, which does help its value potentially. But I'm going to say I'm a little bit hesitant. If the Assembly Square and another modular building go this year, like the bookstore or the corner garage, those two have better potential to retire and appreciate in value at the end of 2020. But looking at the historical data of the downtown diner, just because it kind of disappeared quickly, it has found its way to appreciate quickly, and I think at this point the sky's the limit. And hoping it'll get to $450 at some point, and I'll begin to sell the rest of my downtown diners. There you guys go, talking about 5 different Lego themes in the area of Lego investing, buying, and selling. If you guys have any questions for me, comment below. I'll also throw my email in there as well. I would love for you to sign up to my email list as I start sending out regular emails about thoughts about investing, buying, selling, Lego news, anything happening here on the Jake's Bricks YouTube channel. Would love for you to be informed, and stay subscribed and hit that bell to be notified as I continue to bring out content about buying, selling, building, and investing here on my YouTube channel. But I hope this nugget of wisdom helped you. Again, don't get too wide-eyed like I did in the past. I've made tons of mistakes along the way, but I love Lego. And I love being able to buy and sell the product that I've seen invest and appreciate in value over time so that I can continue to fund my Lego building hobby. Guys, it's Jake from Jake's Bricks signing off. We'll see you guys.